What's up and what's going on to my YouTube family? This is your boy Al, aka Fishing with Big Al. Y'all know me from my YouTube channel, Fishing with Big Al. And this is a video that I'm sharing as far as what I'm doing right now because the water and the tide is low. So I said, what can I do until the tide comes back up? And then I remember that I needed to do some work on one of my reels. And I said, why I'm doing it. It's not really serious maintenance. It's just something that I'm doing and I'm sharing with anybody who doesn't feel comfortable or even understand. If you're new to fishing and things like that when it comes to your material, you always want to keep your rods and your reels together because let's face it, those are your weapons of choice when you go fishing, and you want to make sure you got them in their best condition to be able to enjoy your day while you're out there fishing. But anyway, was having a problem with this one, and what the problem was, this is my Penn Fierce, and what the problem was, and I kept forgetting, and I keep a can of it with me. It's some spray that I use that I will spray on them if something is sticking or if I feel something is wrong, but that was not the case here. What I was having a problem with was taking off the drag top. So right now, it's fixed because I've done it, but what I'm gonna do is walk through what I had to do. Let's use your imagination and picture when I'm turning this, the top, this whole piece will spin. It wouldn't free itself. It would not allow me just to turn the top and loosen up on the drag as it's doing now. So in order for me to fix that, what I had to do was I had to go out and get, since this is a Penn reel, I went out and got the product, which is Penn Precision Reel Oil and also the grease that comes for the material of your pen. And it's always good to make sure that you use the direct material that's affiliated with the product that you use as far as your fishing goes. If you have reels that got different names, always try to find whatever that product is that specializes in that reel because they're gonna have the components, not the components, but they're gonna have the ingredients that's gonna be able to help you keep your components in the condition they need to be in. And since this one isn't that serious, if I had to guess what I would have to do, I would have to go in here and loosen up. Let's say, for instance, if I was having problems with the reel itself as far as spinning. As you can see, there's no problem with that. But if I was, I would have to go in here and probably there's some gears that are down in here. But as I'm looking at it, it looks like I'm not only taking off this plate, but I would have to loosen it. And when I did that, I'm not really sure if something may come out of there. And if I'm not really that great, which I'm not, I just fish with these reels. I make sure I keep the water, I keep them fresh. If I go saltwater fishing, which I always do, I make sure I rinse them down with fresh water as well. And then I make sure that I put some more spray onto them to keep them oiled up on the outside, to keep the corrosion off of them. But if I had to go in here and really open this up, I would really have to be careful to make sure I don't mess this up because there could be a component or something in here that could come loose. And if that does happen, I may not have paid attention where it came from. And then I will have a big mess on my hand trying to figure out how to get it back in there and figure out what happened. Then I have to go to YouTube University and then look for a reel or somebody putting it back together and then do it that way. But since that's not the case, luckily, only thing I have to do is maintain and fix this area here. So walking you through what I did, right? I told you this whole thing turned. It's not doing it now because I had already taking care of the situation. But you see how freely it's turning right now? That is because I used the product that comes that's specified for it. All right, come on off, baby. Let's see if we come off. All right, it's off. So basically what I had to do was just take the grease, which is right here. This is Penn grease. It comes in a little black jar, as you can see, has a little brush and everything on it for you to take your grease out. And the only thing I did was take the brush and swabbed it all through here, all up on them. Anywhere that I know that this top was touching, I figured it was binding, and that's the reason why I wasn't able to loosen up as it should because there wasn't enough grease in there to allow it to turn freely. So this whole piece was spinning. And when I was out there fishing the other day, and I was trying to set and loosen up my drag, I had to hold this and turn at the same time. And you shouldn't have to do that. You should just be able to turn the top that comes with it, and that should be it. So I did take the grease, and I can still add some more to it. It ain't gonna hurt anything, just to show you what I did. But I put the grease with the brush, just tapped it, went all the way around it, inside, anywhere like that I felt that grease was at, need to be at. And then I also took some oil drops and I dropped them around the areas, standing parts, and I also dropped some down in my handle. So basically, putting it back together now, right? She's on. Same way I took her off is the way I'm gonna put it back together. You see, now she's not even getting stuck. She's turning like she should. The grease is allowing it to happen. And I could tighten her all the way down with no problem. Now the test was to see if I could untwist this without it binding like it was. And as you can see, she's holding. So now I don't have to hold this reel anymore like I was doing before. So she's fixed. And that's it. And she also turns freely. So I don't have to open this up. I don't have to worry about it. Penn products, man, are really good reels. These are really good. I've had these where I've had to walk out through the guts in the surf, and water has gotten onto these reels, salt water. And the only thing I do, like I said, I go home and I take fresh water, rinse them down real good, and put them back up, let them dry, and go back fishing the next day, and nothing's wrong. So she's in good standard. Now, I do have some oil that came with it as well that I went and bought along with this. And this is really good too. I like the way this is set up where as far as the oil go, it doesn't fly out. You squeeze it and you get a drop. And that's it, right? So I put the oil in these little components right here, dropping it around. Anything that's screwed, you get down in there. Also squeeze it here, like so, on my screws. And that's just me doing that. I don't know, there's nothing about that. I just do it myself, just to make myself feel comfortable. So it's not gonna hurt anything. So I put that around there and then take the tip, make sure the oil gets around it like I want it. And, believe it or not, you need stuff like this to be done. Squeeze it around this a little bit. And she's in good shape. There's nothing really wrong with these reels at all. It was just that top where the grease had wore itself off for me, because I always loosen up on my drag. So I guess me doing it so much, I was wearing the grease out, and that is what I had to replace. So once I did that, now like I said, she's turning free, as she should. And that's because to put the grease back in there and all the components where it should be at. So that being said, that's part of the maintenance that I did on this, and nothing really major or nothing like that, but somebody asked me about that. I just didn't feel comfortable taking it apart because I don't specialize in that. So I'm not gonna try to take this thing apart unless it really came down to it and I had to, then of course I'm gonna do that. But since there's nothing really wrong with it, it's reeling good like it should. Only problem I had was here. That's the only thing I'm concentrating on. And then I'm gonna leave all this stuff alone. And that's it. So with that said, this is your boy, I'm out. Peace.